Hello and welcome to my Yokai Watch Blaster's equipment guide. In this video, I'm going to be showing you some of the best equipment in the game, some middle tier equipment that isn't as good as the best equipment, but will be easier to obtain and will therefore help you get the better equipment. And then I'm gonna show you a few low tier equipments that you can try and obtain maybe right after you've got to the post game, sometime early in the post game. This will definitely help you out. Let's get into it. So the first items you're going to want are, well, the first high tier items I'm going to talk about at least are Moonbeam and Moonshadow. Now, Moonbeam boosts your attack while you're attacking. Moonshadow drops the foe's defense while you're attacking, and they are similar, but they definitely have differences, and you might want to use Moonbeam on one character, Moonshadow on another. It really just depends on like a bunch of different aspects, like what the boss is, which character you're running, what kind of team you're playing with, who everyone else is playing as, and yeah, just really try to make both of them if you can. I mean, I have 2 Moonbeams, I'm trying to make a second Moonshadow. They're very good items, heavily recommend it. Here's the items you need to make it on screen. Here's Moonbeam. You can pause if you need to. And now here is Moonshadow. Here's the equipment you need for that. Real quick, before moving on, I'm going to show examples of some builds you can use with these equipments. Although, you can use these equips on anyone, use any build you want. These are just ones that I use and ones I would recommend trying to use. So here we have Goldenyon using Moonbeam, and using Golden Claw's Soul. Definitely a top tier build, definitely one I use quite often. Here you can see moves. I have Guard, Ultra Force Field, and then down here we have my Jibanyan S. Now he's running Moonshadow and Swirly My Soul. That's my build that I use on him. So every time he's attacking, he's not only making the foe take more damage, but he's also weakening the foe, making them do less damage. This stacks incredibly well with Blitz attack, because the strength of the hit does not influence how effective these effects are, only how many times I hit him. So Blitz attack is much better than his charged attack in this scenario. Next up, let's move on to spirit attackers, or mages, as I will refer to them as throughout this video and probably any future guides that I make. Contrary to popular belief, what is it called? Let's see. I forget what it's called. Moon God Wand. Yes, Moon God Wand, while good, is not the best spirit equip. That would be Ultimate Beam. Higher chance for criticals based on greater distance. Now, if you're attacking from the max distance, you have around a 50% chance to get a critical, which can be very good, especially if you're running a soul, maybe like Swelterior Soul, or something like that. That's definitely something you'll want to be using. Real quick before we move on, I forgot to mention that the reason that I said Moon God Wand isn't exactly the best equip is because the secondary effect of boosting everyone's spirit stat is only a 5% increase, and it's just not as good, although I will say it is still pretty good. Definitely not as good as a lot of people think it is, and that's really the point I was trying to make. Anyways, back to the video. Now here we have the mage build that I use pretty much all the time that I'm ever playing as a mage. King Mara with Ultimate Beam and a Swelterior Soul. This is very good on him because a lot of spirit attackers want to use the Robonyon 28 Soul, which speeds up your move's charge time by 40%. However, he has that built in because of his skill, has the same effect, and so now he has a 50% chance to get a critical, and if he does get a critical, he's going to do massive damage because of the Swelterior Soul. So he's attacking often because he's able to charge his spirit move faster, and when he does attack, he has a good chance to do a ton of damage, typically doing like I want to say like 800, I don't actually know. I only ever use him against SV Snaggerjag, who is weak to electric, so he against him he does 1300, but obviously since Snaggerjag is weak, he's doing a little more damage, somewhere close to 900, maybe 1000 damage when he crits, maybe, I want to say. Definitely very good build for mages. Next up, we're gonna move back to physical attackers. We're gonna talk about Oni Smasher Sky. Now, this is easily one of the best items in the game in terms of damage output. 400 strength, increases the power of criticals, although you do lose 85 health, it's still really good for a lot of physical attackers. Criticals are just really good in this game. You can easily do tons of damage, especially if you give this to someone with Blitz attack and have them hold crit rate souls, such as a Hoveryon soul, maybe, or something. They're gonna do a lot of damage very fast. Definitely really good. Definitely a high tier item. Now, when I said that this is easily one of the best items in the game for damage, I meant it. It's easily one of the best items in general. There's a lot of different strategies you can use. If you're paying attention to the bottom screen, I have 4 different yokai you might want to use here. Now, my favorite to use this is Chanson. That's because Chanson, his skill right here, higher chance to both cause and take criticals. This gives him a 40% chance overall to be given a critical when he's hit, and to deal criticals to the opponent. The fact that he's getting criticaled as well when he's attacked doesn't matter, just because of how frail he is. He would pretty much die in one hit anyway. But what does matter is 40% of the time, you are going to be getting a critical attack on the opponent, which is going to do massive damage with something like Swelterior Soul and Oni Smasher Sky equipped. Fun fact, when he evolves, he goes from a 40% chance to a 30% overall chance, because this ability gives him a 30% chance to crit on top of the base 10%. When he evolves into Sheen, Sheen only has an extra 20% chance, plus the 10% base chance, which is 30%. So it's just better to keep him as a Chanson. Next we have Tanbo. Absolute beast, is capable of doing 4,000 damage if he gets a crit with Mighty Attack. Oni Smasher Sky, Swelterior Soul, same thing. Literally ranked, Tanbo's literally ranked as the best yokai in the game. Can absolutely just plow through bosses with Mighty Attack. Next up, I'm gonna recommend a Arachneval set with Oni Smasher Sky and something like a Hoveryon Soul. I'm planning on making a best yokai in general tutorial sometime in the very near future, probably like a couple of days after this comes out, maybe 1 or 2 days after this video comes out. And I'm going to explain exactly why. Actually, I'll explain why you should use this set in both videos. just to make things easier on all of you. So basically, a lot of people seem to think you should run something like Zazzle Soul and, I don't know, some sort of... People run weird equips on this guy, but this is the set you should be using, just because stat increases in this game cap at 100%, so you can only have double attack. His Demon Blood skill gives him a 55% attack boost when he's at 1 HP, and every time you use Fiend skill for a little bit afterwards, that actually boosts your attack by a further 40%, so it's worth... So even if you're at 1 HP, I would recommend still using Fiend skill once the cooldown's ready, because you're still boosting your attack once you use it. Now, at this point you have a 95% attack boost, and anything else, something like a Beetle Soul, which boosts your attack by 30% when you're at low health, is really only going to give you that 5% boost. And with here, you have a 1 in 3 chance, because again, Hovering on Soul gives you 20% chance to crit, plus 10% base chance. Basically a 1 in 3 chance every time you attack, to do massive damage, because Oni Smasher Sky giving you a ton of attack and increasing the power of criticals. You will do a lot of damage with this build, a lot more than if you had the standard... or not the standard, but the commonly seen Zazzle Soul and whatever other equip you might think is good on this. This is the best build for him. And I also like to use this set on Jibanyan S. Now, I don't have a 4th Oni Smasher Sky, so he still has his base equips from the previous example, but just pretend he has the same set as Arachne, Oni Smasher Sky and Hovering on Soul. Blitz attack, you're attacking the boss a bunch of times, gives you way more chances to crit, and when you do, you're doing a ton more damage. Definitely a very good item on a lot of yokai. I can't stress this enough, this is a really good item. Heavily recommend it. Alright, now we're gonna skip right to a really good item for anything. Maybe not in terms of damage, but in terms of raw stats. In terms of stats, this is the best item in the game. So, Hellhound Bauble and the Moonlit Cat and Dog Bauble. Both Moonlit Dog Bauble and Moonlit Cat Bauble do the exact same thing and have the exact same stats. Although, Yokai Cat Bauble, on the other hand, your HP will restore steadily while guarding, which is not as good as... It's not as good and is not as well seen as the Hellhound Bauble's effect of restoring your health steadily while charging a move. So, something like Charged Attack, or a mage move like Blaze, Siphon, Rapids, I think that's what one of the water moves is, etc. Those will restore your health a little bit while you hold the charging button down. Really, these seem similar, but the added effects, you definitely want Hellhound Bauble on someone that's going to be charging their moves a lot, but other than that, I would recommend Moonlit Dog, and the examples I'm about to show will show you what I'm talking about. And here we have 2 examples, one using Moonlit Dog Bauble, and the other using the Hellhound Bauble. Now let's start with the Moonlit Dog Bauble. Maximus N, holding Moonlit Dog, and either a Mermother Soul or Count Cavity Soul, which boosts his soul meter charge by 50%, is easily a absolutely broken combo. He can pretty much never die in the right hands. It's overall just really good, increases damage to foes in danger. It's not the best, but it's still better on him than the added effect of the Hellhound Bauble, simply because he's just not charging any moves. None of his moves are charged. And moving on to Hellhound Bauble's example, this works great on Elder Bloom, because it gives him good spirit, and it makes him bulky, so that he doesn't have to worry too much about himself. And on top of that, while he's healing other people, he can heal himself a little bit because of the health restore steadily while charging a move effect. Definitely better to run Hellhound on him than Moonlit, because, I mean, he's not doing damage in the first place. He's there to heal his teammates. So, definitely Hellhound Bauble is better on him. So, hopefully this makes it easier for you to make the choice of whether you want Moonlit or Hellhound on one of your yokai. Also, while we're on the topic of Hellhound Bauble and Moonlit Bauble, you may think, or you may have noticed at least, that these can take some effort to get. Quite a lot of effort. In fact, a lot of these top tier equips are going to take a lot of effort to get your hands on, and without proper help, you might have a bit of trouble getting these items yourself, especially with Hellhound, Bauble, and Moonlit, because you literally need a team of 4 people that are on the same version to get these baubles. However, there are a few Discord servers I would like to bring to all of your attention. First, I would recommend joining the official Yokai Watch Discord server. It is run by 101 Leafy, a Yokai Watch YouTuber who also does other content, but he also does Yokai Watch content. And in that server, you'll find channels for not just Blasters, but Yokai Watch 2, Yokai Watch 3, general Yokai Watch discussion. There's a ton of different channels. There's way too many for me to really go in depth about. They have a channel for other games too, like Pokemon and Monster Hunter, if I remember correctly. They have a bunch of things there. I'd recommend going into that channel, or that server. Next up, I would like to tell you all about a server that I use quite often called YBA Hall. It's basically just a server dedicated for Yokai Watch Blasters. They have just a chat for just talking about random things like life or things you're doing, and they have a chat for talking about blasters in specific. They also have multiple pingable roles, so let's say you're trying to go on patrol and befriend something. You could ping Red Cat Befriender, I'm pretty sure it's called, and someone who's on Red Cat Corps who has the aura that makes it so the next person they defeat is guaranteed to be befriendable. You can have them join you on patrol, and they will help you get a rare yokai. If you want to just grind big bosses all day, there's a big boss blaster role you can ping, have people join you there, and there's just a bunch of different stuff. They also host events sometimes too. They have little polls, and if you're on the winning side of the poll, you usually get like a special role. Really, really good server. And the final server I want to talk about is one that's run by one of my friends, Ivy Soar, with a 6 instead of an A. It's called The Last Yanmarais Dojo. It is basically we have a bunch of... Oh wow, that voice crack. Anyways, we have a bunch of channels for Yokai. We have a channel for Yokai Watch 1, 2, 3, 4, Blasters, and we also have just general chat. We have like a few different other channels as well. We have roles. We have a ton of different stuff. I would highly recommend you check that out and support Ivy on his YouTube channel. All links to all 3 of these will be in the description, and if for some reason you're watching this in the future and the links don't work, you can, at the time of making this video, find both YBA Hall and The Last Yanmarais Dojo on Discord, which is a Discord server bumping website, and you can just search for those servers there, try to find them from there. 101 Leafy's server, the official Yokai Watch Discord server, you can find that. I remember I joined it from the Yokai Watch Reddit page. I swear I do not use Reddit. I used it for a total of like 3 hours. I swear I'm not a Redditor, guys, but you can find those there. Those are alternative ways to find those servers if you're interested. So definitely try joining them, and if you decide you don't like it, you can always leave, but it's worth checking out to see if you do end up liking 1, 2, or all 3 of these servers. Next up, let's move on to tank equipment. Now, first up, we have the Bright Charm, 280 health, 235 defense, and you attract more attention from foes. Now, this is a really good tank equip for sponge tanks. Really good because you get a lot of health, a lot of defense, and usually when you don't have anything that gives you more attention from foes, even if you're guarding a lot, and just doing everything you can to get attention, you're not getting as much of the boss's attention, or just enemies in general attention as you would like to have. But this basically makes it so you almost always have attention from foes, which is a good thing when you're a sponge tank. Here's the items you will need to make it, and it's definitely a really good item. And here we have a good sponge tank build using Swash. Now, as you can see, he has 735 health, 486 defense, and he's got guard and iron guard, so he's constantly guarding, and he's holding a Swash Soul to give him even more health while he's guarding, which stacks with his skill, which does the same thing. The soul and his skill do the same thing. He's incredibly bulky, and because he has a lot of health, this Seawall ability and his Swash Soul are going to end up giving him more health, because the more health you have, the more health you will recover with HP restoring steadily abilities and souls and all that. And he's not going to take much damage because of that nearly 500 defense stat, along with guard and iron guard, which reduce damage by 50% and 70% respectively. Definitely very good sponge tank. Although I will mention Swash is White Dog Squad exclusive, so if you're on Red Cat Corps like me, you'll have to either have him traded to you, or you'll have to have a White Dog Squad member start a patrol that has Swash listed as a sighted yokai. If I remember, he can appear in San Fantastico, I think? I will have to double check that to make sure. If he's not, I'll edit some text on the screen now, telling where he actually spawns. But yeah, definitely really good sponge tank. Makes things a lot easier, and yeah. Now, next up, for tank equips, we have the Midnight Sun Sash. Picking up items or Oni Orbs will recover your own health. Not gonna be active during every fight, however, it's definitely better than Sovereign Sash, which restores your health after defeating foes. Doesn't work very well here, because, I mean, it literally lowers your attacking stats by 25. It doesn't boost your attacking stats in any way, so you're not going to be defeating anything, really. At least here, the ability will happen somewhat. Now, 510 health and 70 defense. This is very good. Very, very good item. Now, before we get on to the example for using the Midnight Sun Sash, I want to bring up another decent equip. Although this is a mid-tier equip, So, I guess I'm cheating a bit. I'm bringing up a mid-tier equip early. Oops. You're gonna start with the Shinobi Sash, and then you're gonna upgrade it into the Master Sash. From there, you are going to want the Legend Sash. Now, this is good for if you're playing with bad teammates, you can use that to your advantage, because your health will recover by half of your maximum health every time an ally faints. And then you can just go revive them and watch as they die again and fill your health back up by half. You know who you are. Please. I mean, I guess thanks for being like that and refilling my health halfway, but no, on a serious note, this is good for if you're trying to carry lower ranks through tougher missions or something with a sponge tank, although I'd recommend just using a healer or something to carry them. This is a good equip to use. Now for the example for both of these items. I use both of these interchangeably on my Sir Nyanzalot. Definitely good. He has disarmament to lower defense, ultra force field for support, and then he has the Survivor Soul, so he's going to recover all of his health once he's defeated, and then the Legend Sash, when he has that equipped, he's going to fill his health by a little over 350 every time someone dies. It's going to be half of 747. I'm too lazy to do the exact math right now. But yeah, that's a good item for him. And then I also, just if I'm playing with people that actually know what they're doing, I'll give him the Midnight Sun Sash, because it's just better for stat-wise. He has 900 health now and 303 defense, along with still having the Survivor Soul, so he'll recover 900 health every time that he dies. Definitely very good. Actually, I have no idea why I don't have guard on him. I might have to change that out, honestly. Yeah, that's the examples right there. So, definitely, if you're playing with people that know what they're doing, Midnight Sun Sash. If not, Legend Sash all the way. Now, lastly, on the high tier equips, we have the Royal Claws Cloth for tanks. I remember I watched Abdallah's video on equips, and he said he wanted healers to be using this because of the added effect of Spirit Up for healed allies. Unfortunately, we now know from researching the game and testing the game, I make it sound like it's some Harvard project, but from testing the game, we know that this is only a 5% spirit increase. Not worth it, and it's much better to just run a proper spirit boosting equip that will help you heal your teammates more. But for tanks, this is definitely really good. Attack up when HP full for the Living World Cloth, that's not useful, and this also is not useful. Neither of these are ever going to matter much for a sponge tank, so you might as well run the Royal Claws Cloth because it gives you a little bit more defense. 20 more defense, to be exact. So you're having 500 health and 100 defense. Definitely a really good item. You could use this instead of the Midnight Sun Sash. I don't actually have this item yet. I honestly, I should make it sometime soon, but whatever, I already have Midnight Sun Sash, I'm not in any rush. Plus, the Thunder Rockets can be used on much better equips, like the Ultimate Beam, like I mentioned earlier in the video. So yeah, definitely a good tank equip, but not good for healers. Please don't use this on your healers. It's not a good healing equip. Now moving on to middle tier equips. I mentioned earlier that the Legend Sash is more of a mid-tier equip, but I'm not sure whether to really say it's a mid-tier equip, because it's sort of in between high-tier and mid-tier in my opinion. So yeah, I just wanted to get that out of the way. But the first real mid-tier equip I want to talk about is the Blizzard Bracer. Also, the Demon Bracer could also be worth your while as a discount Oni Smasher Sky. Either one of these could work. Demon Bracer is probably going to be more widely used. Blizzard Bracer I use on my Shogunyan. This increases the damage to negatively inspirited foes by, I think, 10%, which isn't too big of an increase, but it's still a really good equip on Shogunyan with the Glitzy Bones Soul. 305 strength, 85 defense. It takes away 40 spirit, but you're literally never going to use that, so it does not matter. Now, Demon Bracer, discount Oni Smasher Sky, 270 strength, 275 strength, 85 defense. And it can be good if you don't have Oni Smasher Sky yet, plus that 85 defense makes you a little bit bulkier. Not by much, but still, it's nice to have that extra little bit of bulk. So definitely a good middle tier equip, both of these are. Next up, on the mid-tier equips, we have the Saint's Ring. Now this is 220 spirit, 100 defense, and it increases the effect of healing techniques, although this can be used on someone that's not a healer. You just won't be able to use that increased healing techniques effect, but it's still a very good item for mid-tier. I remember I used this item a lot on both a healer and just mages in general before I had anything good for them. Definitely worth your while to go after, especially if you're planning on using this on a healer. I forget how much this actually increases the effective healing techniques. I'm gonna edit that in I'm gonna edit that in my editing program on the screen right now. But yeah, definitely a good mid-tier item for you to make. Next up, on the mid-tier equips list, we have the Invocation Bauble. This is, honestly, support yokai that are debuffing the opponent don't have many good equips, so even though this is a mid-tier equip, this is the best equip on a lot of yokai that are using debuff moves on the boss. Your negative and spirit effects will last 20% longer on the target, and you're gonna get 275 health, 66 strength, 66 spirit, and 66 defense, and you get this from SV Snaggerjag items. And also, I just realized I did not tell you how to get Blizzard Bracer, Demon Bracer, or the Saint's Ring. Blizzard Bracer and Demon Bracer are from Whipped Cream, and then the Saint's Ring comes from Gutsy Bones. Not Goldie or Glitzy Bones, we're gonna go with Gutsy for this one. Definitely good equip to have on a lot of yokai, all of these are, and they're not too difficult to make, most of them aren't. Definitely worth your while to try to get these while you try to get ready to grind for the higher level equipment. And now, finally, I'm going to mention a few pieces of equipment that are heavily useful if you are still in the early post-game, such as the Ultra Oni Smasher Red. It's going to give you 220 strength. Now, Ultra Oni Smasher Black, while being the equip you need to upgrade to Oni Smasher Sky, that's a high tier equip. It's going to take a lot of grinding to get. You need Hinozol items, You need Arcanos items, and I forget what soul you need, but you need a Firewig soul, which is which is Red Cat Core exclusive, if I remember correctly, and if you're on WDS, that just makes things even worse. And Ultra Oni Smasher Black as itself, this only gives you 180 strength, and takes away 85 health, whereas Oni Smasher Red gives you 220 strength with no drawbacks. In fact, it's almost as strong as Shogun King's rank 4 equip, which gives you 240 strength with no drawbacks. And obviously Ultra Oni Smasher Red is going to be much easier to get than the Kingly Greatsword. So, yeah, really good equip for physical attackers. Next up, I want to talk about a spirit equip. The rank 4 Glitzy ring is going to be really good if you want a lot of spirit with some defense as well. Although Super Glitzy Bones can be kind of annoying if you don't already have decent equips. I will say, oh wow, I remember a long time ago, it was like, what was it, like 2 years ago now? I was still pretty new to the game, and I wanted this item, and it was just so difficult. I could not do it offline, and online I had so much trouble getting the materials for it. But after I did end up getting it, my life was made a lot easier. A lot of the bosses were not as difficult as before with this item. And another spirit equip I want to bring up is the Captain Launcher. Now, 230 spirit with no drawbacks. Only a little weaker than the Staff of Judgment, which also lowers your defense by 40, and only gives you an extra 30 spirit. Not that much worth it. Captain Launcher is a really good early post-game equip. Definitely something you should try to make. Alright, let's move on to tanks now. The Goddess Charm, made from cat cradle materials, is easily one of the best tank equips you will have for a long while, even into the mid-game. I remember I used the Goddess Charm a lot, and if you remember earlier in the video, the Guiding Charm, it comes from the Goddess Charm, so you're getting 240 health, 140 defense, and it's taking away 30 strength and spirit. But if you're a sponge tank, there's no need for you to have attacking stats anyway, so this doesn't matter. This makes you super bulky, and I'm surprised that an item this good can be obtained so easily. Like, seriously, it's just so good. I cannot recommend it enough. I mean, let's just compare it to the Golden Swirl Charm over here. Like, this is a way later boss that gives you the materials to make this, and look, you're only getting 100 health and 180 defense, 40 more defense in exchange for 140 less health. That is not worth it, even if it's not dropping your attacking stats, because again, you're a sponge tank. Your job is to take damage, not deal damage. So definitely recommend the Goddess Charm on any tanks for the early game. Now, last but not least, I want to talk about the high-tech Wristband, a rank 4 equip made from Robonyan 28 parts. You're going to need 2 motors and 1 battery, 3 orbs, and 4 slippery crystals. It gives you 110 strength and 110 defense. Definitely a very good item. I remember I used this a lot on my yokai. I remember this is the thing I used the most for a while on my Maximus end, and I was able to do some pretty crazy stuff with it, that you're able to do decent damage while also being pretty bulky. I mean, it's just really good, honestly. It's just super good. I can't recommend it enough. Really good item for physical attackers. Although, again, if you want more damage, earlier I did mention the Ultra Oni Smasher Red. And I mean, right here you can see, you can just make Oni Smasher Red and upgrade it to the Ultra version from the equipment strengthened screen, so either one works. But yeah, anyways, that's going to be my Yokai Watch Blasters equipment guide. Hopefully you are able to make good equipment and use them to make good builds after some of the example builds I showed you in this video. And remember, there are 3 Yokai Watch Discord servers linked in the description. You should definitely go check those out. Again, if you don't like it there, you can always just decide to leave, but it's definitely worth checking out, because who knows, you may end up really liking it there. All 3 servers, the official Yokai Watch Discord server, YBA Hall, and the last Nyan Mirai's Dojo. Again, the links are in the description, and if you're watching in the future and the links don't work for some reason, you can try to find YBA Hall, last Nyan Mirai's Dojo on Discord, and you could try looking at the Yokai Watch Reddit page, and the Discord's link should be there. But anyways, yeah, I'll be making videos like this in the future. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe, turn on notifications to be notified, and I will see you all next time. Bye, guys.